Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we are going to be talking about a touchy subject, and that is the bottom. Bottom for crypto, the bottom for this. This is a topic that's 50-50. There's going to be a lot of individuals out there that don't agree with me. There's going to be a lot of individuals out there that do agree with me. And I respect that. Listen, if you disagree with me, that is totally welcome on this channel. Listen, I love to have this, sort of, 50-50, discussion with a lot of people. I like to see that people don't agree with me on this subject because it's totally fine. Listen, you don't need to follow what anyone says out there. You do not need to follow what, an influencer in this space. I always hate utilizing that word, but you don't have to follow anything that anyone tells you because guess what? At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what you personally believe. You think that the bottom's in? Then you think the bottom is in. You think that we can go lower? Then hey, we can go lower. I want you to all be indifferent to this. Take what you see out there on Twitter, take what you see out there on YouTube, and just kind of, utilize it as another tool in your arsenal. Okay, yeah, this person has their opinion. That person has their opinion. It's great to have this 50-50. I love to follow bulls and bears because it gives me a sort of a, I want to say a level-headed approach to what's happening around this market, a different, thinking process. But nonetheless, I posted on the 7th, and I said my idea is that the market bottoms this month if we haven't already seen it. My thought process is different than others, and I don't care if you respect that or not, because again, at the end of the day, it's my opinion. I'm basing this off of previous market timeframe patterns plus the sentiment on mainstream media. Now, we do see down here from a few people, my Google feed is stacked with anti-crypto information, just saying when my dad calls he sold his Bitcoin, that's when the bottom is 100% in. And, a lot of people are saying, like, what about the quadruple negative divergence on the DXY, aka the dollar, the VIX, and the RSI? This usually spells selling zones and will take some time to play out. Again, anything could happen. When I look at what's happening around this market, I'm not telling you that the bottom's in 100%. I'm not trying to predict that the bottom is in. In my opinion, I believe that the bottom is in. But could we go lower? 100%. Listen, I'm not saying that, hey, I believe that the bottom's 100% in. I think that I'm going to go all in because of this, that. No. I still have fiat on the sidelines. I still can buy the dip if we see much lower price action, but I feel confident in the fact that we are already extremely oversold. One thing that I have been noticing is the dollar, right? The dollar is still below this major demand area, and this demand area goes back for a while. Like, this is an area that I have noticed going all the way back. I want to go on the 1 month span here just to kind of show you this demand zone. So this is an area that I've been following all the way back to 2000. That's right, 2000 on the dollar. And what's crazy is that we're still under significant support. The last thing holding us before going much lower, in my opinion, like so far we've come down to test this nice area of support, which we've seen back in June hold. It's around like roughly 104. The last area that I'm looking at is just a full-on break below the 50 weekly EMA at about 104.5. And that's that orange line here before we ultimately probably test down here at around like 98 or so. This will be great for risk on assets because already on the dollar, which, by the way, we probably would have pumped a lot more if it wasn't for the FTX situation. We're already down about like 9.31% on the US dollar. This would bring us down to roughly about 14.34%. Just to give you guys a quick insight on what invoked the major push from like 2020 to 2021 for crypto was a 13.4% drop on the US dollar. That's right, just a 13.4% drop. We are already at currently a 9.2, almost a 9.3% drop. How crazy is that? A 13.4% drop would bring us right down to test the resistance zone on this March 7th, 2022 candle on the weekly. And this would ultimately also be major demand of March of 2020 as well. Very significant to watch. But I have been watching the dollar. But what I have been really watching for is the overall sentiment around the entire monetary system as well. For an example, BlackRock, which we know is a massive giant, $10 trillion assets under management, they say that to get ready for a recession, unlike any other, and warns what worked in the past won't work now. Very interesting, because here we have from Larry Fink. This is XRP Darren. He's saying Larry Fink is not an ordinary CEO. He says the future is on open, permissionless, distributed ledgers. XRP community. And here we have Larry Fink. The entire bonds market is being transformed as we talk right now. The XRP ledger is being tagged here. Listen closely.
Change your view of crypto at all? You now have a deal with Coinbase. And yet you were always sort of also, I think, a bit of a skeptic of all this.
Oh, I actually believe most of the companies are not going to be around. I still believe that. I do believe
because they're now real, they're frauds, they're what?
Well, I mean, think about FTX. I mean, you could look back now. FTX created its failure was it's creating its own token. It was not a DeFi. It wasn't a ledger that was open to the world. It was a closed ledger.
Right.
It was not distributed. So the whole foundation of what crypto is, it's supposed to be a distributed ledger that is across the system.
Fink uses Garlinghouse's elevator speech. 99% of crypto is going to be washed away. The failure of FTX was creating its own token. It wasn't a distributed open ledger. The failure was because it was centralized. We've heard anti-crypto narratives, and now Fink is embracing open public ledgers or crypto assets.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important, very important, very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now.
And again, I just want you guys to understand the perspective on short-term and long-term. Like, I'm positioning myself for the long-term aspect of crypto. I know where this market's headed. I believe that crypto is a $100 trillion plus asset class. I'm positioning myself for that. I believe that this entire industry will set ablaze a massive transformative move in not only, finance, but every aspect of life. And we do see over here from Rob Art, we do see every single time never changes during every bear market, same narratives. Also, they don't care about you. The only reason BlackRock has stated that is to make money off of it. And shout out to Sir Rob Art over on Twitter. Also, shout out to XRP Darren. Darren, I forgot to say that
crypto?
I highly suggest you guys go check out his video on this if you are an XRP fan. He does a ton of in-depth videos like this. I highly suggest you go check them out. But yeah, a lot of this gets a ton of publicity, a ton of clicks, a ton of this, ton of that. It's a huge area. And yeah, they want to make money off of it. They already, aped into crypto back in the summertime. If you guys don't remember that, they were moving into crypto heavy back in the summertime. They already made that announcement. And now they're talking about a recession like no other. And then over here, we do see from Rob Art yet again, majority of retail are institutional victims. Magazines, mainstream media says number go up. Retail screaming for insane moon targets. If institutions say number goes to zero, retail agrees. Start thinking for yourself. They don't care about you. And here we have an article from The Economist. This goes back to November 23rd. How crypto goes to zero. And we've seen so many articles like this echoing the same exact narrative. Crypto is not going to zero. I believe that it's a very small percent. You could argue it's 1%, you could argue it's 0.01%, or even a 0.1% of crypto tokens that will still be around. All we know at this current moment in time is that these utility gems that we have been stacking, these utility tokens that we love to talk about, these will be vital instruments in the new financial system. But also, the fourth industrial revolution is underway, and these tokens will play a key role. This is why I say the long-term path around crypto is not being stifled. We are seeing everything unfold at a rapid pace before our eyes, and I I strongly believe that it's all to it's all to target the retail sector. Retail investors are some of the most emotional investors in the space. You know, how do you manipulate all of these markets? Well, you manipulate the individuals that are participants in the market. You know, most of the institutional grade names are the driver. Retail is the backseat drivers. You know, they're trying to control the drive, but guess what? At the end of the day, who's behind the wheel? The institutional grade names. And over here, we do see European Central Bank senior executive Fabio Panetta has proposed a ban on cryptocurrencies. You seriously cannot make this stuff up. It is at the perfect time where they announce all this, crazy, FUD. Stay away from crypto. Crypto is a terrible investment. Crypto is going to zero. Crypto's this. In fact, a huge, huge factor behind all of this is no other than CNBC. Squawk Box. Man, if I listened to Jim Cramer, I'd probably be homeless at this point. All of his nonsense shilling of complete shit coins that are, oh wait, they're stocks. They're stocks. Stocks are safe. They're safe investments. Crypto, complete trash. Stay away from crypto. It's all going to zero, right? That's what Jim Cramer says. Well, here we have from the Bearable Bull. This is the most bullish pitch of XRP I've ever seen in my life. Jim Cramer, thank you. And here we have the whole thing seems bottomless. Just a giant con. Jim Cramer says about crypto. Listen closely.
And check in with Jim Cramer. Jim, what would you like to talk about this morning?
Well, I think we have to distinguish between the notion of what blockchain is. No one thinks blockchain is bad. And what happened here, and I thought you guys did an amazing job. I think Kevin O'Leary's caught up in what I would describe as a suboptimal situation. And I think you did your best to get to the bottom of it, but the whole thing seems so bottomless that I don't know how to fathom it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all trying to figure out what happened. I think Kevin's right. It's going to be years that we're hearing about this. Once bankruptcy courts get involved, it's going to be a very long unwinding. I don't know about Bitcoin. I think that one's different than a lot of the other coins, but I think the marks that came with some of these things are enough to leave you scratching your head.
Well, everything you said was true. I mean, at the end, I think that Kevin said that everything you said was true. I mean, the problem is everyone says is true about this, except for it's just a giant con. And remember, the con is not, it's not blockchain. Blockchain's great, but we keep conflating blockchain with the con. And I don't know how that can continue. I mean, this thing, all these different prices, like we put up XRP and Solana and Dogecoin. Those are all, I believe, cons.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we just put up like a bunch of stocks that are valued at the same size? So I'm tired of the con. I thought you guys did a terrific job. And I love I love blockchain, but it has nothing to do with what happened. That's like saying, I really love the fact that we put up cryptocurrencies. There's nothing to love. Technology's good, but it's... I mean, if we think that the XRP slash USD coin is something that we should be following... Well, I mean, we should be following. We should put up like Rent the Runway and Stitch Fix up there. I mean, honestly, let's put up
those CEOs on too, I guess.
I don't know. Let's put up Sienna up there. I don't know. I mean, I just find it's just a random group of things that we put up, and that I question that because I'm busy trying to find how to make money for people, and I don't want to try to figure out how to lose money for people.
Well, I'll tell you what we've been watching
My job's to try
most frequently.
I've lost money. I've had some bad ideas. But I don't put them up there every 5 minutes.
Well, I will say the thing we've been watching most frequently is the 10-year, and I think that's going to dictate.
But I think Amazon's big, and maybe Apple should be up there, and maybe we ought to put, I don't know, Microsoft, and then Solana. Okay. I don't know.
Jim, thank you.
I thought you guys did a great job.
In just a few minutes.
I thought you did a great job, and that's what matters for our viewers and our readers. Okay.
Thanks, Jim. We'll see.
And it is so comical. Man, it is like a circus, right? It's a circus show for the retail, and they're eating it up. They are eating. Listen, if retail did not watch Squawk Box religiously, and I'm telling you right now, if anybody is taking any investment advice from this big clown, I'm telling you right now, They are hurting financially. This is what a circus looks like. If you haven't been to the circus, here you guys have firsthand. Hey, why do we even have XRP up there? I try to make people money. Really? I mean, it's almost like your main job is to have people lose money. I mean, most of his calls, if not a large portion of his calls, were complete trash. And here he's talking about XRP, being worthless, Dogecoin being worthless. I mean, Dogecoin, it's questionable. Solana, it's whatever. But to talk about these tokens and to talk about crypto like this is just insane to me. Why doesn't he talk about how stocks are, having the worst year in a very, very long time? How about he talks about, Carvana, which he shilled at $300 some and now it's at $7. Why doesn't he talk about some of the other tokens or some of the other stocks that he shilled and now are having some of the worst times possible in the market and having individuals probably, losing their life savings on? No, he'll never talk about that. But crypto, guarantee you, crypto's always in their mouth, because at the end of the day, they got to keep it running. They got to keep the institutional machine running. That's hurting retail individuals that are making them victims to this day. But don't worry, they'll all be on the train when it leaves the station. And you know what's funny about this? I guarantee you that Jim Cramer is talking bullish about crypto again when Bitcoin starts to make new all-time highs, and all of a sudden Bitcoin's going to 100K, Bitcoin's going to 200K, Bitcoin's going to 500K. You'll have the $1 million Bitcoin calls again, and this is just comical. This is why right now in this market you're seeing everything unfold. If you're new to crypto, if you have been in crypto for maybe the last year, whatever, you're seeing everything firsthand on just how much the media will skew things just to benefit the institutional grade clients that are already a part of the show. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.